The hospice was like our shelter in the storm, right? It was really a good place. Yeah, I can't speak of it more positively, right? It's a good place to be. I know, I've been there.
The loss of a loved one is a community experience in a lot of ways, and especially so in Grey Bruce, where we're all so tight-knit. When we provide care to people, we provide care in a way that says, these are our families, our neighbors, our loved ones when they come here, because you can't help but go throughout this community and see people that have been associated with the care. So we're really proud to be a part of this community and an important part of this community.
My name is Sherry Stevens, and my husband Jeff was cared for at the Grey Bruce Residential Hospice in the last few weeks of his life.
I'm Karen Hilgendorf, and my husband spent his last days at the Grey Bruce Residential Hospice here in Owen Sound.
My name's Malin Marshall, and my wife Dorothy passed away at the Owen Sound Hospice.
So we were in hospital a couple of times, and it was very difficult because while the nurses and the staff are wonderful, they don't have the time for the ongoing care that an individual at that stage needs.
It takes time, takes a lot of emotional energy. It can be very hard not only on the patient but on family members and caregivers.
For me, it was really difficult trying to be the provider in an area that I wasn't familiar with in terms of she was having hydration, and there was all this medication, and of course I was always concerned that if she was okay day and night.
That's one of the reasons that I think it's been so good to have a hospice, because when caregivers no longer can maintain the burden, or we maybe shouldn't call it burden, but the hours of involvement with their loved one, or the symptoms can sometimes be very difficult to deal with. It's so nice that they have the option of coming to the hospice.
Our experience at the hospice was excellent, right from the doctors, the PSWs, the nurses. They're just so accommodating. They make it feel like a home.
All the necessities were taken care of, the cleaning and the cooking, and if you needed immediate attention about an issue with his health, they were there. And if he was resting, I could go lay on the bed in the separate bedroom, and I could be there with him.
It took a number of things off my shoulders. It took all the medical requirements away. I wasn't concerned about medically how one would help Dorothy.
Our children celebrated their 12th birthday while Jeff was in hospice, and the hospice went out of their way to make it as great of a birthday as we possibly could for them. So we had a little birthday party in there with cake and friends and family and ice cream and presents and the whole thing, and it really was as good as could possibly be expected. And then the moment comes. They immediately wanted to know if we wanted soft music or how we wanted to proceed in his final moments, and she was with me and just walked me through the process. The nurse did.
And hospice gave us that opportunity to be at peace with whatever was to come. Hospice allowed him to keep his dignity. It gave us a chance to say goodbye. You know, he was already right with his God, and our faith was very strong, and it was supported by the staff at hospice as well. I really can't imagine another ending.
Always somebody on the waiting list, and sometimes the waiting list is quite long. Unfortunately, many times over the last 2 years, I've had to have people waiting in hospital, hoping to get to hospice because they want to be in a more relaxed setting. They knew they couldn't go home, it wouldn't work for them at home. And so their wish was to come to hospice, but there was no bed.
We're a hospice that needs to grow and necessarily are going to grow. We know where we're going to build. We have a very good idea what we're going to build, and we are going to get there. We're working really hard to make sure that we get this project right-sized and built and paid for in a time that makes sense for the community. But full steam ahead means a lot of hard work ahead for us as well. Important to note is that the residential hospice of Grey Bruce serves the entire region of Grey and Bruce. that it is a very big region for a hospice of our size, but we're really proud of the fact that half of our patients have come from outside the city of Owen Sound, that we truly are a regional hospice.
The wonderful thing about having myself in the southern part of Grey Bruce is I'm one of the kind of spokespersons for hospice and palliative care that the people in southern Grey Bruce and the doctors in southern Grey Bruce don't always know that that's available. And so through my engagement with family doctors, more and more family doctors are using the access to hospice and can directly refer to hospice as well. And this is the fantastic thing about hospice, is that it's free. So I can offer this to all my patients. Like I'll get teary-eyed about it, because to offer something that has to cost them money when people can't afford it is devastating for them. You know, to know that they can't get best care because they can't afford to pay for it. And that's not an option, because we have an amazing community that has stepped forth and fundraised so that we can provide this to everybody in our community of Grey and Bruce.
The community really needs to get behind this hospice, build a new facility with at least 10 beds. The demand is there. There's, from my understanding, there's a waiting list all the time. And I just really hope that the community can get behind this new build and make it great for everyone, so everyone can get the experience if they find themselves in an unfortunate situation like we did.
Well, unless the community does get behind it, it won't. It's like anything else; it won't happen. I can't think of hardly anything better to be behind than encouraging people to get behind the hospice, because it may be a place that you wind up, or quite possibly it's a place that one of your loved ones is going to wind up, and it's just an oasis for us.